Okay.
Finding where it two phases. Slide it up.
Board wheel.
Yeah.
That's the thing is,
Keep evolving. Hey everyone, welcome to the launch of our autumn slash spring fundraiser here on Transport Evolved. We have some wonderful guests with us today alongside obviously myself and Kate. We have Patrick and Liv, aka the Electric Duo. Welcome to the Transport Evolved live stream, guys.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so psyched to be here.
This is so cool.
So
you
and I and Kate, we've kind of done events together in the past, kind of crossed paths. We are both in EV for kind of the same reason. EVs are cool, right? But also it's not just about high-end electric cars. It's about getting everybody off fossil fuels and onto cleaner, greener, more equitable forms of transportation. Let's start by talking a little bit about your journey, and then we're going to go into our fundraise. But before we do, I just want to remind everyone that you can join Transport Evolved over at patreon.com/Transport Evolved. And we are setting ourselves a goal over the next 2 months. We want to increase on our Patreon supporters and our Patreon income between 20 and 40%. I'm going to talk about the reasons why a little bit later on, but Patrick and Liv, let's talk about your journey into the EV world.
awesome. Well, firstly, shout out to your super chat there to D Great.
Did great, yes. We love them lots. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for supporting Transport Evolved. You want to start our journey?
Yeah. Yeah, so it all sort of a bit randomly happened, I guess, because, I knew sort of like my next EV, I wanted it, my next car, I wanted it to be EV, but, I'm frugal. We're both frugal. We had cars, weren't necessarily looking for anything, but we were headed to LA to follow a band that we love. And the LA Auto Show was happening in 2019. And Ford was doing the big build up and hype. They announced that they were going to do a Mustang inspired EV and it was going to be an SUV. And then a couple of days before we got there, they're like, it's a Mustang Mach-E. Come see it at the LA Auto Show. And we literally had like 3 hours that morning to go check it out. So we did. And I was hooked on the spot, but still unsure because it's super expensive compared to any other car I bought. But I put in a reservation with the mind of like, I can cancel it at any moment.
And I have to preface that they got us there because they were like, if you put in a reservation, it's refundable and then you can get in the car. And I was driving a 98 RAV4. I'm a fan of like drive it till the wheels fall off. I don't need something new, but he had a Subaru WRX. If your viewers probably don't know this, I'm an adaptive driver. I'm missing my right leg, so I drive with my left leg crossover. A WRX with manual is not good for me. So we knew his next vehicle had to be something modern, all-wheel drive, something that I could use, something automatic. Obviously, EVs are so much easier to drive, but I was still like, this is not going to happen. This is a fancy luxury car. It's not going to happen. And at the time, we actually had a travel adventure channel that like no one watched. We had like 3 views. They were all my mom, but we were having a great time with it. And so we were shooting a video while we were there. And Patrick was like, I think I want to make a YouTube channel on this. I think that would be really fun. And I think those are your famous last words. That's how it'll start.
Yeah. But it basically, yeah, we still weren't sure, as we were waiting for the Mach-E and putting in the order. And I did start the channel once I actually converted the reservation to an order. And then Liv was like, well, I still don't know. And if you get 1,000, she said, if you get 1,000 subscribers before the car gets here, maybe we'll get it. And we did. And it's been a blast. And we've gone through that same EV journey that a lot of other people have had, where it's like, yeah, I'll get an EV, but we'll still have the gas car. And then once you try the EV, it's like, oh my gosh, I hate the gas car so much.
Yeah.
So it's like we now have a 2 EV household. We have an Equinox
Wow.
and a Mach-E, and we just absolutely love it. And we love sharing our joy. We have started the Mustang Mach-E Club of America, where we try to hold meetups. We've held meetups in New York and Colorado and Las Vegas and California, Southern California, Northern California, New Mexico. So it's been like, we love building this community and helping people connect and learn about EVs, because it's nothing. Well, I won't say nothing bugs me more. There's a lot of things that bugs me more, but one of the things that bugs me is like when people are like, oh my gosh, like Bolt owners are so stupid. They're using a 350 kilowatt charger. I'm like, they don't know. Like, did you go over there and have a conversation with them, or did you just rant on, whatever social media platform of the day is? So we love helping people.
Well, and it's been a very organic progression for us. And you always say it best, the cleaner, greener, all that stuff. That, like, we got into this because we were interested in it. And when Patrick made the channel and started sharing, it was like, oh my gosh, other people are interested too. So it's been this like great symbiotic relationship of like, let's learn more and share more. And you guys know, like, once you start driving electric, it's just everything better. It's just better.
And you guys, it's funny that it was that LA Auto Show event. I remember it was actually not a show that I attended. We attended the previous year in the LA Auto Show. And then the whole team swore off LA Auto Show because it was such a nightmare. It was like the worst auto show that we'd ever been to in terms of how our experience was. We had a horrible experience with an Airbnb. We had a horrible experience with some other stuff. And
my main memory from that event is trying to put our equipment in an Uber or a Lyft, I think, and the guy getting salty because it was too much stuff, but we'd ordered like the largest size vehicle, and he didn't want any of the cases to touch the interior of the vehicle, and we were like, it was just the weirdest place.
He ended up ordering us out after a mile, and it was just as it started to have a downpour, which for LA is really rare. Although, LA Auto Show is in November, so there was a big downpour. And I remember we walked about 3 miles in torrential rain, ducking in between buildings with all of our camera gear. Never again. But I did get invited to Germany to see the Mach-E before it was revealed. They flew me over. In fact, that was the last time I was in Germany. Flew me over. I saw the vehicle in its design studio, and then a week later they flew us Ford flew us out to LA to see the reveal with Idris Elba. That was kind of fun. My biggest memory of that event was we got this quiet kind of murmur went around that Jay Leno was going to be there, and that nobody was allowed to go up and speak to Jay Leno.
That's funny.
Is that real? He seems like such a friendly dude, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know if it was something that their PR team had come up with, but it was like, Jay Leno is going to be given a walk around and nobody's allowed to go and speak to Jay Leno.
You may look, but do not touch, Jay.
Exactly. That was all I remember from it. But so you now have, so you started off with the Mach-E kind of focus. You've now changed to the electric duo. Talk me through that.
Well, it was very organic, like the progression of us sharing on our channel that like we've always shared about all EVs. We started as a Mach-E vlog because we put a reservation in on the Mach-E, but very soon after I started writing for a Girl's Guide to Cars, we started reviewing a lot of EVs. So it's been very natural for us to do this, to go to the auto shows, to dive into the tech. And as soon as we moved to California, Kyle Connor, out of spec, generously lent us a 2012 Nissan Leaf because my old RAV4 would not pass emissions here. So we've been a 2 EV household for a couple of years, and that thing got like 50 miles of range. So it's been us. We've been all EVs. We've been an electric duo, and I think someone actually referred to us as that at some point, and we were like, huh, that's cool. But for the longest time, we were thinking about rebranding because we're like, we're not just the Mach-E vlog. And we've always wanted to share about all EVs with people. And we've had to say it with the caveat of like, we're the Mach-E vlog, but we love the Ioniq 5 or whatever it is, you know? So now we get to say who we are without any buts, you know? And it's like, we're electric here. We love all
that
EVs.
totally works. And I really like the new branding. I love what you've done with it. It's amazing. We're going to talk a little bit more about your experiences as EV owners and also as journalists and slash influencers. I don't know how you fit on that line. I know it's a really complicated discussion. We've been discussing things offline this week in regards to all kinds of stuff that I won't go into here, but it's a really awkward space to work in today, which brings us to Kate, the purpose for our fundraiser. Would you like to give people a 50,000-foot view?
Well, I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot recently is the impact that machine learning and AI has had on YouTube, which is that YouTube has devised this idea, which is that they can just fill the space with AI-generated craft. And it doesn't matter if it's right or if it, actually has any facts in it, as long as people click on it.
Yeah.
And that has consequently led to, I think, a real shift in the way that we have had our income coming in. So our income traditionally has been split between YouTube and Patreon and some white label stuff we've done in the past. And also we are a content and a consulting house, so we do produce stuff for other people. But the YouTube revenue has decreased, both as the nature of the adverts on the platform have shifted, and also as the quality of the content that is getting clicks has shifted, because a lot of it is not actually generated by humans.
Yeah, so last week there was a video that I saw that said that Tesla has invented a flying car. And
that's a pretty consistent one. We've been watching that one happen every few years.
And it had a picture of Elon Musk and actually Jay Leno riding in a flying car, and it had like 200 and some thousand views, right? And so how this happens, how this works is that in the YouTube business, you make a video, you publish it to YouTube. If your channel is big enough, you get the ability to earn money from the adverts that are placed in your video by YouTube, normally automatically, and you get to earn a proportion of the ads that are played to your audience as your video goes out. Now if you have a YouTube premium subscription, i.e. you pay Google or YouTube a monthly fee to not have ads, a small percentage, and I can't remember what it is, but it is kind of small, of every video you watch, some money goes to the creator as part of your subscription. But if you don't have a subscription to YouTube, what happens is that YouTube puts an ad on your video. You get a proportion of that ad revenue, and it's measured in per thousand views, cost per mille, cost per thousand views. And how that works is advertising companies go to YouTube and say, we will pay you this much money to put an ad in the video. And YouTube goes, okay. And YouTube automatically, a lot of the time, allocates an advert based on keywords. So if your vehicle if you're doing a video, for example, about a vehicle, let's say that we're doing a video about Liv's old RAV4, then maybe Toyota comes along and says, hey, we want to advertise our newest car. And you go, okay, YouTube says, we'll allow you to play that video, that ad in the video, and we're going to charge you X. And Toyota or its ad agency and YouTube come to an agreement, will pay so much money to put the ads in. Now, it's not a flat fee. It's based on bidding. So the company that pays the highest gets the ad slot, and the creator gets a small proportion of that. Now, when we started Transport Evolved officially started in 2010, became a completely independent YouTube channel it became a YouTube channel in 2013. And when we moved over to the US, became a completely independent entity. So 10 years ago, we were getting about $4,000 to $8,000 a month in ad revenue, because the cost for each ad, the cost that advertisers are paying for each ad, was actually quite high. It really peaked during the 2017 presidential election. We got some really great months of ad revenue now. But now that figure has dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And even though the view count hasn't really changed, the amount that advertisers are paying Google, because it's a sliding scale, has dropped and dropped and dropped. And the more of these AI ads that are put on the platform, ads are allocated based on views and eyeballs. So the more views a video gets, the more money a company or a creator makes from those videos. And what's happening is that AI content is being put up. Other bots are promoting that AI content on social media platforms like Reddit, Twitter, whatever. And then those creators behind those AI farms are making money off fake view counts, and some legitimate view counts, but basically advertising to no one. And that's causing every channel. And that includes Patrick and Liv, and it includes, everybody who creates content online. I haven't met a single content creator who hasn't seen a drop in ad revenue, even though their view counts remain pretty similar. Thank you very much, Jade. You rock.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do for the month of September and October is we're doing like a PBS style membership drive. Now, a lot of content creators have made up for the gap by doing ads for better health or adult toys have become really popular among YouTubers, and VPNs, NordVPN, or what's the one that everyone's doing right now? The news one.
I would see HelloFresh, or is that HelloFresh?
HelloFresh is another one, but I also see there's this
one that allows you to analyze whether news is meant to be biased or not.
Ground news. Thank you very much, Sean. And so those ads are arranged independently with the creators. They're what we call embedded ads. So we come to an agreement as a creator or as a YouTube channel with an outside advertiser, and we put them in. The problem is we have some pretty strict rules at TE. First, we only promote a product that we know and trust and love. That's why Energy Sage is a sponsor of our channel, because we work with Energy Sage. I have personally used them. Same with when we used to use Atmos. Before Atmos, unfortunately, for those who were interested, Atmos Financial closed its consumer accounts and has switched its products. So they're no longer really compatible with us. And so that's why we no longer work with them. No other reason, nothing bad. It's just that they rejigged stuff and we weren't able to carry on our relationship. But we only ever work with companies that we really, truly believe in and trust, and we've used their products. Same with these guys. The Ukrainian guys who make those wonderful wooden models, U-Gears. Unfortunately, I have not heard, people keep asking, I have not heard from U-Gears for about 2 years. They've gone radio silent. And I think we probably know why. because they're based in Ukraine. So we are very restricted in the ads that we can do. And so therefore we focus really heavily on Patreon. And without our Patreon support, we can't do everything that we want to do. And we're a very small team. It's myself, Kate, Vi, and Erin. Kate is part-time. Everybody else is full-time. I don't pay myself. So of all of the money that we bring in, it goes straight back into the business, straight back into paying everyone, making sure everyone has healthcare, making sure we pay everyone a living wage. Now, with the cost of things going up, the living wage bit is becoming very difficult for us to oblige to do. And the team are wonderful. I want to give them a pay rise. I would love to be able to pay myself. I used to do that when things were a lot better with ads. But we tightened our belt. We've restricted everything down. We run a lot of the servers here at the house because it's cheaper for us to do it that way than pay a hosting company. And it also means that governments can't get access to our data as easily when they're not on Google servers and can just be accessed after with a little threat from whatever thing has happened. And people might think that we're being a little bit over the top with that. Thank you very much, Joel. And thank you very much, Zach. There is a way to know how much... no, there isn't a way to know how much financial support comes to us from Amazon. I don't know if they break that down. I will look into it and get back to you. So what we do is we are 100% really supported by Patreon, plus any extra income we can bring in. And so in September and October, in order to encourage people to join Patreon, Erin is coming up with some wonderful digital art. It's going to be a virtual desktop picture or a desktop picture that you can put on. It's going to feature the entire team. There's going to be bunches of Easter eggs in there. Did we ever decide what your Easter egg was going to be? Oh, yes, we did. We know what your Easter egg is going to be. My Easter egg is going to be very obvious if you know me. Erin's and Vi's are going to be slightly different, but the Easter eggs are going to be pretty good. I do hope you pay yourself with healthcare. Unfortunately, no, but my partner has a good job and pays for my healthcare, so I am covered. So if you join Patreon in September and October, at the end of October, we will be sending everybody a digital piece of art based on where you live. So if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll get an autumnal piece. And if you are one of those very special people who live in the Southern Hemisphere, we will send you a Southern Hemisphere spring piece. Because, Liv, as you well know, not everybody comes from the Northern Hemisphere, right?
Indeed. As someone from South Africa, I'm kind of jealous because I kind of want the Southern Hemisphere one. Also, like, I am super intrigued. Like, I want to see these Easter eggs. So I might, like, I don't know, unjoin and rejoin Patreon just to get it again.
Thank you very much.
Next level. Oh, yeah. I know. Make a VPN. We'll make this happen. I want to see these Easter eggs.
Hans, I think the rule we're going to make is if you are a Patreon supporter through September and October, I think we can probably keep people in. And I think Liv and Patrick, well, we can probably hook you up with that artwork. It will be fine.
Thank you.
So it's really a problem, isn't it, guys? Running a channel. I don't know if you've noticed it, but income has become a real challenge.
It's one of those, because like you can see your monthly views or last 28 days and you're like, wait, yay, we had a really good month. And then you like look over to the right and you're like, but my revenue is down. And it just doesn't always add up, and it's frustrating. And this year is particularly troublesome for us because I was one of those federal workers that I got to use my hands, chose to leave.
Right.
So it's like I'm looking for a job, but also like I see what you do on YouTube, and I'm envious, and at the same time going like, oh my God, it's so scary what you do to commit to building a team around this and doing it full time. So it's like I envy you because I want to do that, but at the same time, it's so scary, and it's a daunting task. So it's like, you know, I every time we see you, like I applaud you and thank you for setting the example, but it goes beyond just how well you treat your team. It's also the integrity of your content, plus the professionalism. I still remember we went to, I think it was the Electric Vehicle Association. They were doing the thing at Aptera. And we're like, cool, we're going to run in here. And like, we had like our phones, I think.
I think I lay on the floor with my phone
Yeah.
to like get in the front. And you guys were like completely pro. Yeah.
Like heavy duty tripods and mics and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really is. It's
Caliber.
like, we can always look to you all for setting the gold standard for producing this content.
Thank you.
And I, you know, it's like we know we have a different style. We're the ones that are going to just run in with our phones and our Pocket 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys really do have such a way of filming.
There's place for both of us. I mean, that's the important thing. There's place for all content, all styles. So thank you.
And also, by the way, you are the caliber also of the quality of your topics.
Thank you.
You don't just make videos on anything. Like I'm sure we all see those clickbaity things that are so enticing at the viral nature and how many views they get or whatever. But like, you guys are very inspiring in that regard, that you're just like, you're making great topics as well. It's not just to make content, like you're making something that's really enriching the world. And I know I feel that with us as we take this more seriously as a potential job for Patrick, it's hard to have something you care about so much, and the quality and both of the topic and the content. So kudos to you guys. Upper echelon.
And I just want to reiterate here, because our DP very often suffers imposter syndrome. Our videos have leveled up a lot lately, and it is due to Vi. Vi's editing and stuff is just next level. If you haven't seen the latest video we did, which was the Blazer SS EV, that montage is pretty amazing. But I think the other reason we're being so transparent about all of this is that a lot of people don't realize. So I think I can talk about this vaguely, as in I'm waiting for the contract to be signed.
Oh, this has been a weekend.
So I'm not going. If you are a Patreon supporter, you will see a little bit more behind the scenes stuff, and I will just say, hey, keep that in the Patreon. But a company invited us to an event that you guys happen to be going to as well, and there were some complications about contracts. Like, we gave them pushback because they wanted us to sign an influencer contract that was incompatible with our journalistic integrity. And we had said, hey, we still want to come, but XYZ. Normally, companies pay for flights and accommodation out of their pocket, and they just send us the tickets. And then when we make the video, we go, hey, this company provided airfare and lodging. We retain full editorial control. In this case, we were convinced to buy the tickets because it's a big company, it's a big event. They are working through a third-party agency. I don't think I'm doing anything negative in discussing this, but in buying the tickets ourselves, we are now looking at about $6,000-7,000 worth of costs for just 2 people to go over to Germany next week and attend an event. And having that kind of money on tap is not easy. Yes, that's why credit cards exist, but as independent creators, I think a lot of people think that, I've got, $1 million in the bank, and I can tell you I don't have $1 million in the bank.
If anyone wants to supply the $1 million, go right ahead. We can have $1 million in the bank. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave us your money and your will or whatever. I promise we will put it to good use. All jokes aside, though, people very often look at what we do and look at what you do and say, oh, it's all right for you. You're wealthy. You've got a home. You've got this. You've got that. I know, speaking for myself and for Kate, the only reason why we are both homeowners is because we happened to have lost a family member who left us a little bit of money that enabled us to get on the housing ladder. If I hadn't have had lost a family member who gave me a little bit of money, combined with other things that happened to line up in my life at the same time, I wouldn't have had enough money to to put a deposit down on a house. So
actually, same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way
So-
back when. Way back
Yeah,
when.
way back
Yeah.
when, but it's the same thing, right? It's a lot of people go, oh, like Mr. Beast, or pick a name, right? Massive YouTube celebrity, makes a lot of money, and whatever your feelings about those people, they're doing fine. And so therefore, if you are on YouTube, if you are making content to a certain level, you must also be raking it in. And the reality is EVs are niche. Our industry is tiny, our niche is tiny, and so we need more community support in order to make sure that we continue to grow and to expand. And, you know, I worry about paying my bills like everybody else, you know, when the electricity bill comes in and it's gone up again, or when the grocery bill comes in and it's gone up again. It hurts. And everything that we do at this channel is focused on sustainability of ownership of EVs, of making sure that transportation is accessible, making sure that it's not just the latest and greatest in cars, and doing DIY stuff. I don't know if you guys are into DIY stuff, Liv, Patrick?
We are, but we just can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and actually, I did a couple of DIY videos at some point, which no one watched, but.
So this is going to be an upcoming video on the channel this coming fall. I finally got buy-in from my beloved. I said, hey, everybody's doing it. Can I do it? And she was like, I don't really like the idea of 3D printing a part and putting it in the truck. And I said, well, let me have a go. And so over the weekend, I printed this part in, this is... I can't remember what filament this is, but it's
ABS?
It's not ABS. It's even stronger and more temperature resistant than ABS. But it's really strong. It's got carbon fiber in it. It's for the shifter mod. I know we have an F-150 owner in the chat room. It's for the shifter mod because the shifter in the F-150 is notorious at the moment. There are a lot of them breaking. Ford doesn't have a whole lot of parts, and you can actually replace it with the Mach-E shifter, which goes in here. So that's going to be an upcoming video on the channel. So if you want to support what we're doing, that's a good way of doing it. We talk a lot on the channel about accessibility, and we talk about making sure that EVs are accessible to everyone. And Liv, that's something that you have a lot of experience in. How would you grade the EV industry in terms of its accessibility for adaptive drivers?
Interesting. Well, I feel like I got into the automotive stuff through the EV industry. So perhaps my grading of EV specifically would be unfair because I don't know too much about like how cars were before, but I certainly think like some of the cool things about EVs are inherently more accessible. Like the flat base, the lack of a transmission tunnel, lets you have more freedom with making the front cabin more open. For me specifically, when I crossed my left leg over, my knee jams into a lot of the center consoles. So a lot of the EVs, like the Ioniq 5, which is like a giant open space. It's like luxury, amazing. So that's really cool. But then also the responsiveness of the pedal. I have a drop foot, so I have foot damage. So just the fact that it is easily responsive, that like it's the regenerative braking and the way it's all blended, like it's just less work than an ICE vehicle in a lot of ways. And a lot of the EVs we've been in, having customizable accelerator and pedal, and I'll have different things to Patrick. That's really incredible, and it's exciting. And then some cars, like there's some vehicles that just go back to old traditions, and then with a giant transmission tunnel. And I know that like being an amputee is not necessarily translatable to that many people, but I think that needing extra legroom or needing a bit more ease with your pedal is kind of relatable. But what?
I was going to say something that's related to all of that, and we hit in a lot of our videos, is accessibility at EV charging stations.
Oh, yeah.
We touch base a lot, and it's so funny because like if you ask the companies, they'll go like Electrify America. At some of the stations out here, they have like their ADA handicap spot that's for EVs. And they're like, yes, we have those. And it's like, yes, but then you got to like cross like 3 lanes of parking lot traffic. And there's no way to do that unless you go like 150 yards down and around because there's no gaps. And they're like, oh, yeah. So it's sort of like we want to help amplify Liv's voice, everybody else's voice, to say like, it's more than putting a little blue box with somebody in the wheelchair on the pavement and going, yes, we have a handicap spot.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so challenging, of course, because it's not just wheelchairs. You know, there's so many different ability levels, and all of us will probably be in part of them. If we're lucky enough to grow old, we will probably lose some ability, right? So designing accessibly is imperative. And it's not always great. But I'm a big fan personally of everything being accessible, because if all of the spots are accessible, anyone can use them, right?
Universal design, right?
Yeah, and with cars as well. So like I was thinking sometimes with some of the vehicles that are going like really crazy or really different, they actually make it more challenging. You know, the lack of grab handles in some vehicles, or door handles that require 2-finger function instead of 1. I can only use these 2 fingers of my hand. So progress isn't necessarily accessible. So there needs to be that understanding.
I think we all need to take a leaf out of, is it Patricia Moore's book? If you don't know who Patricia Moore is, she's considered that is her name, right, Kate? I want to make sure I've got it right. She's the mother of universal design. It's Patricia Moore. She is now, I think she's still alive. She is now an older woman, a senior, but she is considered the mother of universal design, because while she was a product designer in her 20s and 30s, she engaged with empathy and tried very hard to envisage the world as someone with mobility impairments or issues or challenges. And so she went to a friend of hers who was a specialist in makeup, and got her friend to make her an old person costume that included things like a stiffer back, a reduced mobility around her knees. And so she would go out in this costume as an older person to experience the world in a more restricted way than anybody else her age would. And that informed her to work on universal design concepts. The idea that if I can use this when I am dressed like this and I have restricted mobility, then somebody else can do it as well. I think the other thing to bear in mind, and I want to highlight this, is that people's mobility requirements change on a daily basis. I know plenty of people who are ambulatory wheelchair users. Sometimes they can walk, sometimes they have to use a chair, sometimes they have to use crutches, and sometimes they just can't get out of bed. And as someone who has an invisible disability, I also sometimes have to, no, I don't need to park in a accessible space, but there are days when I do not drive because it's just not, my body is not in that space. So for those who don't know, I have a heart condition. Sometimes that means that I have extremely low blood pressure. Sometimes it means that in the evening, I'm not safe to drive. We're going to be seeing each other next week, Patrick and Liv, and I think you're going to see me probably in my danger zone, which my wife laughs because she always sings danger zone to me when I say I'm entering the danger zone. But it's adaptive for me. So when I bought the truck, we bought the truck partly because some of the adaptive technology that is in that trim level of F-150 Lightning means that if I have a series of PVCs in my heart, which can sometimes distract me a little bit, the truck is not going to let me do anything stupid. And And it's just like, if I get a fluttering in my heart, I know that the truck is not going to suddenly drive off the road if I get distracted. It's not that I'm going to pass out, but it's like a distraction. And so things like that really do help as an adaptive technology. And I don't think we discuss that as a society, do we?
No, and I think I remember the story actually of her. I've taken the note of her name and immediately forgotten it again. But who dressed
Patricia Moore.
in
Yeah.
Patricia Moore. Thank you. But I think it's understandable. It's impossible to imagine something that we don't know, which is
Right.
why it's so wonderful that we have stuff like YouTube and your channel and our channel, where we can each share our individual insights. And then if someone resonates with that, that's wonderful. And I think that's so rare and interesting to try and take on someone's experience. And it's encouraging to keep like trying to look at everything, automotive, charging, EVs, trying to look at it with everyone's eyes. It's completely impossible. Yeah. But that's also why I know you guys and we welcome everyone's input. Like, this is such a weirdly collaborative experience. Like, everyone in the comments and that comments on your videos, they're giving you their insight that you then take into consideration. And that's, it's beautiful.
And it's, like, I think the pressure needs to be put on the companies to be inclusive when they are asking for input and feedback, and not just going to the designer that has never been in a wheelchair or had mobility issues. Have them take a look at it. And we went to a news station up in LA a couple of weeks ago, and it was like, great. They have an ADA stall. They had a couple of them. They turned it so that the screens were not in front of the vehicle, so that you could see it from the other side. So it's easier to get to if you are in a wheelchair. But of course, they have to protect the station, so they put the bollards in the way. Yep. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Is like, pull the cable down, throw it on the ground, go around the bollard, pick it back up, and it just, it's like, did you have somebody go out there? And it's sort of like, I don't want to go like, you guys are horrible because you did a bad job. It's just sort of like, thank you for making an effort, but can we go that extra step? And it's like, I don't know what the solution is, because it's like, yeah, you sort of got to protect that very expensive equipment, but how do you do that but make it accessible?
I think it's not necessarily the extra step. That's the whole point of universal design, isn't it? It's like, it's not about going the extra step. It's not about creating special environments where people can succeed. It's ensuring that everyone can succeed in the same environment, and that means making adjustments, whether it's how tall the inlet handle is, or maybe ensuring that the charge cable is supported by a sprung arm that takes some of the weight of the charging inlet. And I think it's interesting to see how different countries approach it. Obviously, at the moment, without going too far down the political rabbit hole that exists, that's become a bad word in America right now for whatever reason. And I know Liv and I have waxed lyrical plenty of times about that offline. But it's about making sure that we create an environment and a world where all things are possible, rather than some things are possible for some people. Whether that is accessible charging bays, whether that is including a relief area for service dogs in a busy building, whether that is, I've seen some really terrible videos lately of people with assistance dogs really struggling at airport security because nobody has been trained on how airport security should operate for someone who might appear to be fully sighted, for example, but they have limited vision and they have an assistance dog. Or as was the case with my late sister, someone who has perfect speech, but is actually profoundly deaf, and therefore cannot hear when someone yells from across the room, I need your dog to do this, this, and this. And it's about training people. It's about training people with empathy and understanding, and the realization that their lived experience is always going to be subtly different to everybody else's.
It's funny you mentioned like the hearing thing, because like every time we travel, we sort of run into this because a lot of times we want to pre-board. So Liv will go up and go like, "Hi, I will need to pre-board," and then of course the time comes for him to pre-board, and it's like, and she is,
and I'm partially hearing impaired.
So she looks at me and is like, "What do they say?" I was like, "It's our time." But then it's like you get on the plane and it's the same thing. It's like they'll come by and they'll talk to her and she looks at me for the translation, and like they'll do that like the entire flight. And I'm like, "Can you like?"
Well, and I should probably say I'm hearing impaired, but I'm like, I'm not when I'm on the ground, but when I'm in a plane, it's very much so.
Right.
Yeah.
But to your point, there's so many systems in which a person with a handicap or disability, whichever we're going to say, has to do something extra in order to function. Like even, I hate to call it out, but the loop in Vegas, the tunnel, if you're in a wheelchair, which CES is navigable by the Tesla tunnel, the loop. And my first CES, I was in a wheelchair. And if you have to go through a whole process. You have to go request and then find the person, and then they'll find the car for you. This was universally designed accessibly. I could just go down there and I don't need to make a big deal. I don't need to ask someone for help.
And do you remember this year? Because she wasn't in a wheelchair this year, but the only way to get into the underground is to take the escalator this year, unless you went like all the way around the barricades and asked the security guard to move the barrier so you could get to the elevator every single time.
So there's so many obstacles in the way of someone just using the transportation that ambulatory people can just walk onto. And it's like, honestly, if you think accessibly first, universal design, it's really no big deal. It's really no big deal. You know, just have everyone use a lift and then have it all be accessible. Like,
it's also, there's really no excuse at this point in time for those kinds of design decisions, because we know enough now to make better design decisions up front. So it's bizarre that you keep running into that kind of experience. It's not surprising, it's ridiculous, but it's not like, how are we still in this place?
Yeah,
absolutely. We're really excited about going to Munich and covering the IAA mobility. And we were just talking with Kia about covering what they have going on. And one of the things we're really excited about is the PV5 platform, which we're not going to get here, unfortunately. But when it was first unveiled at CES, by default, it has the capacity for a wheelchair lift, because they've taken advantage of a fully modular, customizable base. And the fact that the seats are, like, everything is modular. You can customize everything. And they all had like the lift and the base. I'm like, that's how they started. That was the start of this. Like, done, gold star, amazing.
Yeah.
We're not getting it here, unfortunately, but like gold star.
It really is. It's a matter of, it is so frustrating to see how some companies can just do it right and it makes sense, and then other companies and cause problems without naming the person. I know somebody who is a cancer survivor who had a mastectomy, one side of their body, and they have talked a lot about the loss that they have felt losing part of their body as a consequence of a mastectomy. They are very adamant that they do not want to have any kind of prosthetic or any kind of implant, because that's not part of them. So they've lost part of their body. They don't want a replacement. They just want to feel accepted and accessible. And they like, they would like to have lingerie that reflects the lingerie that they used to enjoy buying. And they went into several different stores and asked, hey, do you have any products for people who have had a mastectomy? And the answer was always, well, you're just going to use like a prosthetic, right? And their response was, no, I want to feel I want to feel empowered, and I want to feel good being me. And part of feeling good is that I can wear clothes and I can wear underwear that reflects who I am, both internally and also accommodates my body. And to see that person, their self-confidence has been absolutely decimated by the way that they were treated by some major retailers who were like, no, we don't have time for that. And
Yeah.
they've just resorted to either not wearing anything or coming up with solutions that do not make them feel good.
That completely makes sense. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And this weird tangent that I have is that like there's Doppler, the new AI thing where you take a photo of yourself or whatever and then put clothes on you, and it keeps giving me a leg. And so it like grows my legs back, and I find it really distressing.
Oh,
because,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm okay
That's
with me.
terrible. Yeah.
Like I'm okay with me as an amputee. This is me.
Right.
And me with 2 legs, meat legs, is like, and it's not real. And I
It's not
find
you.
it it's not
Right.
me. So I find it distressing every time it does it. Like, no, make it stop. And so I can envision that feeling of like, this isn't me. Why are you trying to make me this? Like, I'm fine. So it's weird.
Which brings us back to which brings us back to AI, right? And brings us back to what we said at the beginning, which is AI is making a lot of cruft that is not authentic and not real. And unfortunately, and Kate, you can speak to this, adds in all of the biases of all of the data sets that trained it. You did a video on this once, right, Kate?
Yeah, we did a video on training vehicle driver systems, and there were some studies that came out that looked at how good are vehicles at detecting people in wheelchairs, how good are they at detecting people using walkers, how good are they at just detecting people on a bicycle, like things. All these are things that you see in the street and you should be able to detect as a vehicle. And then obviously, how good are vehicles at detecting people who have skin that is not white? And the answer is very bad at all of these, because they trained them on data sets where no one had looked at the bias of the data sets, and the places that they were gathering data from were majority white, majority people who did not have a disability and maybe did not use bicycles. I don't know what was going on in those areas. But yeah, the data and the impact of that like are fed all the way through the system, because the bias gets in there and then is never addressed. And it's also very hard once it's in there to retrain a system to do something different. So like this is something that we've seen with the systems that we've built for a long time. So our autocomplete in email before it was LLM based was mainly based on the leaked Enron emails. So that's why your autocomplete sounded like a white middle-aged manager, was because that's where the data set came from. And so now it's based on a bunch of stolen data from random things that they've pulled off the internet, and they have no concept of what the biases are in there. But we know what the bias of the internet is, and we can look at it and go, yeah, it isn't gonna be good.
Yes. Yeah, let's not even bring Grok into this. Although I'm convinced that Grok may be commenting in some of our comments. It's very important for independent journalism and for independent channels like the Electric Duo, like Transport Evolved, like so many other great channels in this space to continue to exist. And I want to finish by highlighting some of the channels that we ourselves support and lift up, because I think it's very important to highlight that while we are asking for your support here at Transport Evolved, and I would love for you all to go and support Patrick and Liv as well at the Electric Duo, it's also important to point out that we aren't just asking for your support, for your financial support. We're asking for your community. We're asking to help build up and lift up other people, diverse voices, diverse experiences across the spectrum of cleaner, greener, safer, smarter, and more equitable transportation. And I have some great channels that I follow. So Not Just Bikes is one that I follow. I don't support them financially, but great, fantastic channel. And then I have channels that I do support. So I support Dala the Great. Daniel, who runs that, amazing guy. He does a lot of open source hacking of projects, and he works in the EV industry. He works as a charger technician, so he understands DC fast charging. He's based in Finland. Really amazing guy. Totally should go and support him if you really want to support those open source projects. But I thought maybe we could close out by highlighting channels and voices that you are really fond of, that you really trust, that you go to when you need you know, either a compass adjustment or like, I'm not crazy, right? I really like this person. I really want them to continue to do stuff. The other person I'm currently supporting is Mark Rides, the German guy, former band musician, who is riding around the world on electric motorbikes right now. He might go back to gas bikes at some point, but I'm not allowed. It's not safe for me to travel around the world on a motorbike in today's climate. So I'm living vicariously through someone else. Patrick and Liv, why don't you give us some of your favorites?
We have a bunch. I have to quickly shout out the Climate Town.
I knew it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
that was going to be one of mine.
Yep.
Dream Collab also. Climate Town is such a good channel. We have Bo Family EV in the comments, so I have to shout him out. Lightning driver and EV enthusiast up in the Bay Area. Misco Electric is awesome. She's great, and her partner Tim. Did I say everyone you were going to say?
Yeah,
It's really,
basically
it's really funny, sorry to jump in, because someone in our comments, one of our trolls, is constantly telling us how terrible we are and how great Miss Electric is, as if we don't like her. And I'm like, no, I watch her content. Like,
it's great.
If you guys are trying to start a beef war, it's not going to work. Anyway, carry on.
You guys are great. She's great. Both things can exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always find it amusing because like we'll get some of that. For us, like one of the funny ones is people will correct us by talking about Kyle Connor and out of spec, and Kyle says this, and I was like, you realize he was in our car when he was talking about that, and we were there the entire time. And they're like, did you see his video? I was like, yeah, I was there when he filmed it, but I don't think people realize how great the little small EV content community is. We have, you know, you all, Misco Electric,
Charge Positive.
Charge Positive is a local creator down here in San Diego. I won't say local. Again, it's like one of those things, struggling to make this into something bigger, but he's just great stuff. And really, it's like his family was one of those that did stuff like burning excess fat or oil from restaurants, and then got a Volt, and then it's like, this is stupid, it uses gas sometimes, and now they're like he's fully electric. So it's just it's really great supporting all of the fellow creators and how we all work together. So like this week, as you mentioned, a few of us are trying to get to Germany, and we're all sort of like, what do you guys think? I don't know. What about you? Must be legit. We all got invited.
Right, exactly. And I think that there's going to be some beers to be had in Munich when we're there, especially as I know that we're staying at the same hotel. So there'll be lots to catch up. Kate, come on, give us some.
Come on. Well, Aging Wheels. Big fan of Aging Wheels.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
I support him as well. Robert is great. I've been trying to, full disclaimer, I've been trying to convince Robert Dunn to buy a diesel microcar from Europe. And I just want to point out that, yes, diesel is terrible, bad for the planet. But in this case, I just want to see him driving a diesel-powered Aixam. Yeah.
God, they're awful.
And he said he was interested. I'm like, you need to do it, mate. You need to do it.
Oh, I'll have to watch that video. That'll be such a horrible experience.
I haven't convinced him yet, but I have been
Okay.
trying to convince him. I've also been trying to convince him to buy a City L. What else have I been trying to convince him to buy? I can't remember. I
You're
regularly
such a bad
send him
influence. You're
cars.
such a
You're
bad
either the angel or the devil on his shoulder, clearly.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then Damien Maguire. That's another one
Yes,
that
yes.
I'm a big fan of. Obviously, like anyone who is doing anything to improve the experience for people building their own EVs and like reusing those parts and expanding that ability for people to do stuff at home. I love that stuff. So
Damien is a bit of a gem in the EV world because half of the stuff he says I don't understand, and it's for me to not understand stuff, it makes me go, I feel really stupid. But Damien does actually explain it as he goes. So for those who don't know, Damien repurposes technology that was originally designed for other vehicles and does a lot of work on DC fast charging and repurposing like Tesla components or other automaker components and open sourcing them, open firmwaring them so that he can drive a 1990s BMW 5 Series, I think was one of his cars.
That's
and
one of
he
his.
put DC fast charging in it. And he's in Ireland, so he's got a good sense of humor as well. Anybody else before we finish, guys?
Oh man.
There's so many.
Yeah, there are lots of little ones. There's this channel I haven't watched her in ages, but Callus EV.
That's
Oh wait, is that your
we're
name?
like in sync. We must
It's
be
like we're a
married
duo
or
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's in Arizona,
Yep.
and
Thank you
I
very
always
much,
want to
Russ.
meet her because she's just Callus is her dog, but she
Right.
just makes like really great, punchy, good, informative EV reviews, and she's like 4 foot tall. She's very petite, not what you would expect. And I love that. I love seeing different representation, different people, and her content is just like really good. Like she's super knowledgeable. I've never seen her at a show, but I'd love to.
EV Geek. We're going to do a
EV Geek.
podcast with them tonight.
They're great. Yeah, we are on their podcast tonight. Yeah, there's so many people, and like Patrick was saying, like we all kind of know each other, right? Like
Right.
and support each other. It's awesome.
Rooting for each other.
Yeah.
And some of us are very quiet, and some of us are very outspoken, and some of us are very outspoken on camera and very quiet in real life. I don't know who I'm talking about there. I cannot think of anybody. Side note, a lot of EV YouTubers and a lot of YouTubers in general are very neurospicy types who are very, very good on camera and very outgoing because we've learned how to mask. But if you catch us off camera, we are very genuine, but we might appear slightly shy or whatever. I know that's true with me. Someone said the electric trucker. Stefan said the electric trucker. Stefan is great. Stefan's just managed to get a City L back on the road with a new belt. So I live vicariously. For those who don't know, I used to own a City L. I'm not allowed to own one anymore. But I live vicariously through Stefan and watching the City L because they're so cool. Tiny little cars, totally impractical, but absolutely wonderful. And to finish, there is one final thing. I'm just going to need to disappear off channel. So Kate, I will leave you to ask Liv and Patrick details of their channel.
Yes, yes. So tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find us at The Electric Duo everywhere. Well, YouTube is at The Electric Duo. Everywhere else is the _electric_duo. Yeah, come find us there.
If you search for The Electric Duo and there is a musicians, that's not us.
Yeah.
If it's about EVs, that's us. We just rebranded, so it's hopefully starting to appear in more places. But yeah, it's still feeling new to the rebrand, but still enjoying it. And now Liv, her day has been made. There is a puppy.
I'm so happy. I was actually hoping. I was like, no, she won't be getting a dog, but she should. She's getting a dog.
Sky. I don't know if you've met Sky before. You've definitely met Ghost before.
Yeah.
No, Ghost is the other border collie. So Sky is your traditional border collie. And Ghost, are you gonna come say hi? Ghost. He's
why wasn't the whole show like this?
I know,
like,
right?
why have we not had dogs?
So
People sometimes get mad when we have the dogs
Here he
on. I
comes.
do not know why.
I bet everything's better with dogs.
this is Ghost. This is Ghost. And this is Sky. For those who don't know, Liv adores border collies.
I do.
All dogs.
All dogs in general.
All
but
dogs.
We had a Borgie, so I'm very
Hi.
partial.
And we just filmed
Yes.
at Hello last week, and they had this, I don't know what it was, but it was like a 180-pound dog, but it was also an amputee. So Liv had an extra special connection.
I did. And he was in every shot.
That is actually something I'm trying to do right now. My daughter is looking to buy her first car, and she doesn't have a lot of money, and she's not sure if she can get an EV or not. I think she's leaning towards a gas car, but one of her criteria is, does my husky fit inside?
Oh,
She has-
and how good does the husky look?
The husky is
you know,
amazing.
with the head out
and
there,
she
yeah.
looks amazing too. But she is a three-legged husky, so she also needs accommodation so she can easily get in and out, because if it's too tight, sometimes she has difficulties in tight
Aw.
spaces. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And
Thank
as
you
a
so much for
reminder,
having me.
everyone, if you want to support Transport Evolved, please consider supporting us. Our goal is to get 20 to 40% increase in our income. It really is super important that we do that, because if we don't, I won't be able to keep, we won't be able to keep the content up. We won't be able to keep the level of production up. And we won't be able to just randomly go to an event that we need to cover. We won't be able to just go and do stuff. And, you know, YouTube's been doing weird stuff. YouTube's been putting a load of our videos up as podcasts for some reason. I need to get to the bottom of that. I think I may have done something, so I'm not going to blame YouTube on that. But it's important that we continue to support independent creators. And that means supporting the channel. So for the equivalent of $1.50 a month, which is what? Not very much at all. If we've got 150,000 subscribers. If we had like just 400 or 500 of those people who watch donate the equivalent of $1.50 a month, then we'd actually, what's that, $20 a year, less than $20 a year. We'd actually be in a lot better of a financial situation. And the same goes for wonderful Patrick and Liv. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. We're going to be doing more live streams during the month of September, October. There won't be one next week because I will be in Germany with any luck. But we'll do one the following week. And if you have any ideas for people that you'd like to see with us on this, let us know. Thank you very much, Sean. You snuck in that donation at the very end. Thank you very much, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day. Patrick and Liv, stick around or say goodbye properly after the credits have rolled.
Finding words.
Two phases. Slide it up.
Inboard wheel. That's the thing.